Yeah, we're seeing a lot of rebranding again. Microsoft renaming their products, and usually that implicates that license metrics will change in a few months after. Yeah, very curious to learn your opinion on that, Floris. What's your anticipation on that item?
Yeah, first looking back a bit, so I was preparing some sessions that we're going to do towards the future, and always have to check if everything is still correct. And what I realized is that where Microsoft makes these statements that licensing in the cloud becomes more easy, and yeah, it's better than the way it used to be. Um, I tend to heavily disagree. So they making it so complex. So you have all these suites, you have all these products in these suites. You have products crossing suites. You have suites within suites. All these flavors that they're creating are, the premise for them is to make it easy to license what you need. But when we talk to customers, it's a headache for them. They just don't understand and don't know anymore what is included in what product. So Microsoft should definitely step up their game and do something about this, because this is seriously a pet peeve of mine. And even now, like if you look at a product, for instance, like audio conferencing, it's great that they have added this to almost all the Microsoft 365 suites, and then you can even get it free of charge for your dial in. So for people that are on the road that need to dial into a big meeting, audio conferencing is now free to use for all these people worldwide. You don't need to buy E5 anymore, which is great, and it's adding value to the other suites. But it's making it a lot more difficult, because what can you do with the free version? What can't you do with the free version? Especially also with things like Power Apps. So they want to offer Power Apps to everyone that's using M365 and Dynamics, but how can you use it free of charge? And when do you need to move to the paid subscription? So these things are crazy difficult for companies to understand.
Yeah.
And what Microsoft keeps forgetting is that this is something that a lot of people at Microsoft or at organizations that need to procure Microsoft are doing on the side. And it's not their main business. They don't have 24/7 to learn about these things. And they try, but the changes go so quickly. So towards the future, my expectation is that this will not change. Microsoft will continue to make the changes as they like and they see fit, what they think will serve their customers, but actually serves them the most, because the lack of transparency and the lack of knowledge in the market, even if you look at the LSPs, which we will talk about later, which should be the go-to one-stop shop for all your Microsoft licensing questions. Yeah, they've made it. They don't even have the knowledge anymore to keep up with what is going on. So rather than it becoming easier, I expect it to become more difficult, especially if you look at EA and CSP and MPSA, which are the three main licensing motions for large organizations. I think the level of differences between those as well is astounding. You need to be aware of difference in programs. You need to be aware of differences between licenses that you buy. You need to be aware of what happens when you have software assurance or if you don't have software assurance. What can you do with your license that you have? What can't you do? It's not getting easier, and I do think that they, because the last years have been relatively quiet on the licensing front, that I do believe this might be a summer where we are going to see a lot of announcements, and I really hope that some of these announcements make it easier for customers to understand what exactly it is that they're buying. Because right now, it's very easy for Microsoft and their partners as well to say, well, you need E5. So the amount of times that we've heard you need to buy E5 because you want to use E5 security products is so enormously high that I can't even count the amount of times anymore. And it's
No,
a lie, because you generally don't immediately need E5.
no.
Definitely not. The same with things like Azure. it's such a big portfolio of products now, and it's ever expanding, that I can't keep up with what is in it and what you can do with it.
Yeah.
So it's amazingly innovative, and the possibilities are endless. But you need technical experts, enterprise architects, vendor managers, procurement people, an organization to make a strategic decision on to move something or everything or anything to Azure. The amount of people they need from their organization to make a strategic decision like this is ever increasing. And maybe that's what Microsoft wants, because they can go to the CIO and say, well, you want this because we're going to help you in your digital transformation, and you're going to be set up for life, and this is what you need to do and get started. And they drill it down into their organization. Maybe that's what Microsoft wants, but it's not helping the people that need to do the actual work.
No, I think you're having a valid point there. I think that's the whole approach. The revenue will drop, recession is coming up, so they need to find other ways and sources to get that revenue stream up. So yeah, and what we've seen, complexity is always a leverage to increase revenue. That's basically what it is. So we really should be aware of that, and our clients should be aware of that. It's not that they're making it complex because it is complex. It's making it complex because they can get more revenue out of it. And yeah, we all should be aware of that. And if we are aware of that, then there's no issue. But yeah, I think I think Microsoft is choosing a wrong path here also, because we've seen an approach where you really could say that they were approaching it from a client perspective. If we now that the market is becoming different, the market and Microsoft is becoming again a market leader, you see a change in their approach, and it's still not a very big change, but all of those small changes in a few years will have the effect that they will perhaps change their approach there drastically.